bedroom, got my brother's 30-30, and was sitting there at the kitchen table.
With his own.
To the door,
oh
he
my
shot
God.
it. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah, then he left and went over and hung out with another friend of theirs that was in mutual, and they'd been sitting in the backyard for a couple hours drinking beers, and he turned around and said to the dude, "Hey man, if you just killed your best friend, what would you do?" He said, "What are you talking about?" I shot Glenn and he's dead, and I don't know what to do. I don't know, I'm just fucked up about it. And he goes, "Well, I think that you should have another beer," and he went and called the law, and Dennis went to jail. You know what I mean?
What? Oh my, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's mind-boggling right there.
Yeah, you know, things happen. Life is messy.
So he gave him a job. He opened up his house.
Right. So he got my sister.
and he cheated. He hooked up with.
He hooked up with my sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was living in L.A. and she moved to Phoenix and moved in with them, and they'd been to the river one day and got into a fight, and they fought all the way home.
Okay, so it was the guy fighting with your sister.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then
okay.
he locked my brother out of the. They were all locked out of the house. My brother kicked the door open, and it was the end of the story.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. You know, life is messy. People go through stuff. You know what I mean? And some stuff people go through is different than other stuff, but everybody goes through something. But you know, there's hope. There's hope in Jesus, and so you know, if people are struggling with the season, with family matters, whatever, you know, there's hope and there's an answer. You know, it's just a matter of searching for it. You know, that's what I'm doing in Slab City. I'm not out here trying to save the world, but whenever I took off out of Oklahoma the last time was December the 20th of 2018, and I went to Florida, and I met some folks from Alabama down in Florida that have Jesus Kitchen that go to the National Rainbow Gathering each year and to the Ocala Rainbow Gathering each year and feed folks and give them encouragement and Bibles and food and coffee, and you know, play drums with them and just hang out with people that nobody else wants to hang out with except the other hippies, you know what I mean? And so I went to the first one with them and seen what they were doing, and then I went to a thing over in Orlando right after that called The Send, and it was a one-day stadium event in Orlando that had called for 60,000 radical Christians to come there. And they did a whole day on missions and missionaries, and Hillsong come up from Australia and did the praise and worship music. Todd White was there. There were several keynote speakers, and from being there that day and listening to what they were saying and seeing how they were operating, I decided at that point that I would go to rainbow gatherings to take Bibles to the hippies. And so that's what I did. I hitchhiked all over the country, and I would get to the local town and hook up with the local churches. They would, you know, donate the Bibles. I would carry them into the woods, and I would stay out there for the 2 weeks with my dog and hang out at the drum circles and, you know, the main circle, and just do hippie things. And then COVID hit, and it kind of all blew up in July of 2019 in Idaho. And so me and Rainbow kind of split ways a little bit because of the for a better word, shit show that the Nationals turned into that year. The elder people that basically run the rainbow gatherings were staying, you know, stay home, and we were like, you can't keep us out of the woods, and they're like, and then it turned into a big fight, and it just got to be. So anyways, I went back to Florida, and I stayed in Florida for a while, and then decided December the 26th of last year that I was coming to Slab City. Somebody had given me a tricycle, an adult-sized tricycle for Christmas, and so it had a basket and it had a place to put my stuff. So me and my dog rode to the beach, and it was like 45 miles. Well, that was pretty easy. We might as well just ride this thing out there because he gets car sick. He don't like to be in the. Where did he go? He left. No, he don't like to be in cars anyway. So we got on the bicycle and we rode the bicycle until I broke it. Then we bought another bicycle at Walmart and rode that until I broke it. And then we got another bicycle at Miramar Beach that was a really nice bicycle. That was an Iron Man mountain bike, 29-inch, and it had a trailer behind it. And we rode that from Miramar Beach, Florida, all the way to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And got to Hattiesburg, and we were on US 90, and some lady ran over us and broke my trailer, broke all my stuff, destroyed my bicycle. My dog was tied to the front of it, knocked him off his leash, out of his tennis shoes. He went into the woods. I thought he was dead. we should have both have been dead. But got up and walked away from that without a scratch on me. I had a little tiny bump on my elbow and I hurt the very end of my finger when I hit the concrete. But the car hit us. I went into the air, landed in the curb. The dog got knocked loose. He went into the woods. And he was gone for 3 days. When I finally found him, I found him 45 miles east of where we were at. He was where we had camped 2 days prior. I found him 3 days afterwards. And so we were, you know, it was amazing to me that I found him at all. But he's just sitting there like, where you been, dude?
Wow.
And we've been together ever since, you know.
That's
but
crazy.
He walked the 567 miles from Zephyr Hills, Florida, all the way to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, you know, at 20 miles a day. And we were doing it. It was a lot of fun.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, but after that happened, then now we don't know what to do. Can't ride the bike, can't hitchhike. He's too weirded out to be on the highway. So we get a ride back to Oklahoma City, and we got back up there about the first week of March and stayed until Memorial Day weekend. And Memorial Day weekend, I was like, okay, I've had enough. I can't stand it here no longer. And we packed up and hitchhiked to Minneapolis, and I bought a boat in Minneapolis, a 14-foot John boat, and put it in the Mississippi River. And we floated the river for 3 months, all the way down to Louisiana, Missouri. I knew I was going to Louisiana, but I thought I was headed to New Orleans, but we got to Louisiana, Missouri, and the boat sank.
What the? Wow. Amazing.
So we hitchhiked back to Oklahoma for a little bit. We was in Oklahoma for a couple of weeks. Then we went to Buena Vista, Colorado, and visited a cousin of mine and his family. And from there we come here. We've been here for 8 weeks, and it's just things are so good. I love it here. Yeah.
You gotta elaborate a little bit more about the boat sinking.
Well, it was a John boat, a little aluminum boat, flat bottom. And I had one with a low roar, and we're paddling down the river, and it was doing good, man. We were coming through Minnesota, through Wisconsin, and into Iowa. But when we got to the bottom of Iowa, the mountains went away, and it was flat. And so the wind picked up really strong from the south and was blowing us backwards. I couldn't go nowhere in this boat, and ended up in a bunch of rocks. And the boat already had issues before I wasn't aware of, because I bought it off Facebook. But the dude who sold it to me was a cool. I mean, he probably didn't know. But anyways, he put a hole in it, so it started to leak in. Well, I get to Moline, Illinois, and pull over into this park, and my boat. I tied my boat up, and we had to camp there for the night because it was dark. I don't have no lights on the boat. There was nowhere else I could go. So I thought, well, I hope they don't, give me the blues for being in their park. But the next morning I got up to go get in the boat to leave, and it was underwater. So I had to pull it out of the river. I flipped it up on its, and I went and got some Flex Seal and patched it and let it dry for 24 hours. And it seemed to be doing good. And I also bought trolling motor while I was there. The guy bring me a motor, a battery, and a recharger. So I thought, well, that fixed the wind problem, fixed the leak problem. We're good to go. Get in the boat, take off. The motor lasted for about 10 miles. It went bad on me. I burned it up by not treating it right, and the boat still leaked, because when I would stop the boat at night and drag it up on the bank, it would knock the patch loose. And so I kept thinking, well, I can, it's a small leak, I can bail and repatch as needed. And I got to this marina, and I asked this guys that was working there if they could, do something with my motor, and they said no, they wasn't able to do that. But there was a next door neighbor there, so I'm talking to this guy, and he's fishing. I'm like, hey, old man, I said, you know anything about electric motors? He said, nope. I said, me neither. He said, why? I said, because mine is broke. He said, well, bring it over, let's look at it. Took it up there and we tore it all apart. Nope, can't fix it. So, me neither. He goes, I got something that you might help you though. You got oar locks on that boat? I said, I don't know. What's an oar lock? And he told me. I said, oh yeah, I got those. He had a big old boat in his backyard and gave me 2 8-foot-long, looked like Viking oars. They hooked them up, whoosh, and man, I could make that sucker move with those things on there, wind or no wind, I didn't care. And so we rode another month and a half with a leaky boat, just bailing water, and then it just got too bad one night and sunk, and it was like, man, I'm sick of this boat. My dog, invasive carp are jumping up and scaring my dog. He's jumping out of the boat and broke his service vest thing, and then don't want back in the boat, and the fish are jumping, and they're like 30 pounds, and and it was crazy. There's no fish. You're just going along, and all of a sudden the river erupts and hundreds of fish are flying through the air, hitting you in the head.
Wow.
Yeah, my dog is freaking. And so when the boat sank, I'm like, I'm good. Let's go. We just started hitchhiking.
Wow, that sounds like a good spot. Well, wherever that was to go fishing.
Well, yeah, if you like carp. And so I'm sure But yeah, 5 days.
That was Mississippi.
That was the Mississippi River. Yeah, 5 days before we sunk the boat, the carp started, and he went out the boat, and I'm trying to get him back in the boat. We're in the middle of the river, and the current's kind of strong there, which was weird because most of it wasn't much current. Getting him back in the boat, I kicked a bag off the back side of the boat that had all my electronics in it. It was like a small backpack that I carried to town when I'd go into town and get groceries or whatever. And so I didn't have no phone for 5 days. Well, when we sunk the boat, we got out and started hitchhiking. I can't find a metro. I'm in the way backwoods of Missouri. You know what I mean? I'm in the hills, and there's nothing out here but trees. And so we hitchhiked all the way to Oklahoma, to Chakota, Oklahoma, and I went into Walmart and bought a phone. Well, it'd been 11 days with no phone. So I get to my daughter's house. Her husband's like, where have you been? What are you doing? The whole world's looking for you. They got helicopters flying up and down the Mississippi looking for your body. They found your boat and your stuff and know you. I'm like, well, that's crazy. I talked to the people right there. Man, let me call these people. So I had to call the police and tell them I'm alive. Keep the boat. I don't care what you do. I got to go. Bye. I'm busy.
So they thought you were dead.
They didn't know if I was dead or stuck on an island with a broke leg or what the deal was. Maybe just stuck on an island and the boat got away from me. You know, they didn't know. They were just worried, I guess.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's an amazing. And all this happened just
this summer. Yeah. We left Memorial Day. I got back to Oklahoma Labor Day. So from Memorial Day to Labor Day, I was on the river.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how'd you hear about Slab City?
Oh, I've known about Slab City for years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a traveler. You know, I'm a traveler.
Oh, okay. But before, have you visited before?
No, this is my first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going to try to make it out here last year for New Year's, but then I got the bicycle and decided, well, I'm just going to ride the bicycle, so it probably wouldn't get here until the end of spring at the earliest. But I didn't think it was going to take me as long as it took me. It was like on that river. I thought I would be to New Orleans in 6 or 7 weeks. I was on that river for 3 months and I only made it halfway.